Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Adventure Built. My name is Kelly.
I'm Trevor.
And we're back in the shop doing another install. We're installing CBs in our vehicles, the Tacoma
and the 4Runner.
And we're doing it right now. Stay tuned.
Kelly and I have been using handheld radios from the beginning, and we have never really upgraded them or done anything with communications, and it's really held us back.
Because they suck. They suck.
I wouldn't say they suck. They're great for line of sight spotters.
Spotting,
That's pretty much it. Pretty much it, yeah. As soon as the vehicles get any kind of distance or obstacles between them, they're done. So the next step in that are AM radios, also known as CB radios. And with that, I did a bunch of research, and there's a lot of brands out there and everything. A lot of people have their opinions on them. However, one thing that I noticed is a lot of the professional drivers were all using President. And I figure if they're good enough for commercial drivers who use them a lot more frequently than overlanding, off-roaders, and stuff like that.
It's good enough for these two guys too.
Exactly,
yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Almost broke it.
Yep, put that down anyway. I reached out to President, let him know kind of what we were looking for and everything else, and they actually said, well, why don't we send you out a couple radios and you guys can test them out, let us know what you think. These radios were not paid for, they were supplied by President. However, our reviews are going to be our own. We are going to be as unbiased as we possibly can be, and
we're under no obligation whatsoever to perform any kind of review, no contract, we're not getting paid to do this.
Yep.
They only send us these radios to test out, and test them out we will do.
That we shall. Just a couple specs on these. They're different radios, but a lot of similarities. They're both 40 channel units, 4 watt AM. They run 26.965 megahertz to 27.405 megahertz, and that means...
You sound like a scientist right now.
I have no idea what that means though. So
super impressive. It's super impressive ramblings of numbers.
We are not radio people. We're not on this for...
we just want to be able to talk to each other.
Yeah.
That's it. And to other people.
Easy communication is really the name of the game. Another cool thing with these is that they are 7-channel with weather alerts, which is always good when you're on the trail. President also has one of the best warranties out there. It's called a 2+3 warranty. And what that is if you're just using their radio, it's a 2-year warranty. However, if you're using it in conjunction with one of their antennas, then it adds another 3 years. So essentially you have a 5-year warranty when it's complete. So it's one of the best on the market as well.
It's good to know.
For the 4Runner, I'm gonna throw in the bill. It has a compact size and everything. It has a good amount of standard features already in it, and some really cool little features that we'll show once it's installed. But the big thing on this one is size. So cell phone please.
Cell phone, sir?
So this is an Apple type cell phone.
iPhone XR.
Sure. And for good comparison, 4x4, and then almost an inch tall, not including the little base and everything on there. And it's also around 0.7 pounds.
Very small, very compact.
Yes, extremely small.
The radio that's going into the Tacoma is going to be the Taylor. The Taylor is going to be a little bit bigger, but it's got a lot more functionality to it. It has an external speaker port, it's got a lot more adjustability, but there also comes at a cost of size. And also price, it's $129 compared to this one's $100. Yep. You can see compared to my iPhone, it is quite a bit bigger. This is more of a traditional CB radio size, where I really feel that Trevor's is going to be a much more compact, a lot more portable, storable kind of CB size. Well, I think that is enough of us rambling on about how cool these are. Let's start the install.
Do it.
We're starting off with Trev's 4Runner. Now keep in mind, the CBs are going to be temporarily mounted. We are still going to hard mount the base, but we're gonna make it so that we can remove them because we don't use them every single day. They do consume space, and the way that all of the accessories like the mic and the antenna, the way they route, they'll kind of get in the way of things as a day-to-day operation. So we're going to use the power adapter as a cigarette lighter. That way we're not having to hard mount it to the battery. Although, just so you know, if you do get some whining in your input and output of the CB, it's probably from wiring it to the cigarette lighter instead of wiring it directly to the battery, which is a more solid constant mount. First things first is right now we're trying to plan out exactly where we're going to mount this in Trev's 4Runner. We're trying to figure out a good spot to make it so that it's not in the way, but still functional with the speaker. We think we have the solution right now.
One of the really cool things about the bill is, one, it's tiny. Two, it comes with two different bases. So if you want it hard mounted permanently and everything else, you use a small little metal bracket, drill holes or find your holes, mount it, and you're done. However, following the theme of being able to move it or remove it from the vehicle when it's not in use, because we only normally use these for our trips, and this mount is really cool. One, I like it. It's a little beefier, it's a little bigger, but it has two little clips on here that make it quick detach and everything. So all I have to do, disconnect the antenna, unplug it from the cigarette outlet, two clips, pull the thing out, and I can safely store it so it's not getting damaged from my kids jumping in and out of the vehicle, and also just gives me a little bit more room on the floor while I'm mounting. Speaking of that, let's see where this thing's going. I've got the Victory 4x4 Molly panel on the center console, and it's great because I can have my little bag of things I get in and out of all the time. But we can pull this out, just make some room. That will be going back on, but then this thing can mount here, and I'm gonna have it coming low so it's out of the way, and I can still hang the mic right there, and it'll be easy to see the display and everything. And you can also mount it this way, or if you want, you can flip it this way as well. And I may mount it this way so that way the speaker's on the outside and I should be able just to hear it a little bit better. Originally, I was going to mount this into the glove box, or not the glove box, the center console. However, with it only being able to have an external speaker, I wouldn't be able to hear it. Rock solid.
Whew. We got the base mounted up and it looks great. Now we're going to move to the antenna and get that thing done.
While all of the radios are named after presidents, the antennas are actually named by state. So this one is the New York. It kind of has a little angle adjustment to it, and you can still remove it, and it has a magnetic base. So we're gonna start with good placement on the roof. I want to keep it away from my normal radio antenna for interference, and then we will run the lead. We have 13 feet to get it off the roof, down through the firewall, around all of the electrical components, steering components, pedals, and all that good stuff to the radio. Let's check it out.
And done. Nailed it.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. So.
Right now, Trevor is just trying to get the cable routed around everything so that it is low profile as possible. Now, every application is going to be different. Obviously, every vehicle is different. Year, make, and model is going to dictate how this cable is going to run from your roof line, however, which way you get it there, either through the engine compartment or through a rubber stopper in the body somewhere to get into the vehicle to the radio itself.
Right now I'm fishing the antenna end through the firewall gasket. The trick is, one, it's a large opening or a large plug for the antenna, so it makes it really tricky, especially with one hand, and I've got the mount and everything for my S-Pod, so it's definitely tricky, but you want to protect that end as much as possible. If you can, throw some tape around it or something like that, because you do not want to damage your antenna end. Now that we got it through the firewall, I am going to loop and weave over all of our steering, pedals, e-brake, all of the, essential kind of components under there. Make sure that it's not interfering with anything. With my placement of the install, it actually worked out perfectly. I've got the antenna set back a little bit further than the first cross beam. However, I have about 6 inches left of room that I can actually just tuck it right under the body panel, any excess, when I'm not using it, and then you just put it underneath, screw it in, and you are connected up for the antenna. And again, your install is going to vary depending on where you place your radio, where you place your antenna. Just remember that it will all vary. One thing to note with the antenna, it's all about connection. So you want to make sure that there's no gunk or anything on your antenna cable or on the bottom. And then you want to place it into it. You want to push in the base of the cable, not using this, because you want to make sure the antenna is seated nicely in there, and then screw it in nice and tight.
To wire up the CBs, we're going to use a cigarette lighter, and we got these accessory cigarette lighter, whatever you want to call them, ends on Amazon. The link will be in the description below, but these are really, really nice, high quality. I was actually surprised when Trev pulled these out of the package. The cable or the wire itself just feels stout and feels like good quality, and the plug itself feels very nice also. Definitely good quality.
Really easy process for this one. Don't need to wire up a loom or anything else. Red to red, black to black, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, black on red, red on black. I'm just kidding. Now that we got the connection all wired up, ready to plug it in and test it out. Oh, but wait, it has to have power on because it's a Toyota. All right. It's alive.
So right now we're going to do a little wire management on Trev's truck, especially on the antenna. And we're going to wire up his hand mic, and then it's my turn.
Just like the antenna, you want to plug the mic in using the base, push it all the way in, and there's a little indent on where it lines up for the 6-pin, so you don't bend any of the pins, and then press it in firmly, and then use the ring to tighten it down all the way. And finding a spot to mount this is going to vary on your accessories, where your preference of mounting is. But I found a pretty cool spot on mine where I don't have to do any modifications using existing hardware. I ran the cable up the side, keeping it nice and taut, and I think it's going to stay next to the windshield really well. But if there's any issues, I'll come back and fix that. But running it through, so there's a weather seal channel up top here. I'm just using this little tool, lifting it up a little bit and essentially feeding it underneath. I don't even have to pull the whole thing off.
Now, Trev and I both have a lot of accessories that allow us to mount these kind of in places you may not. Now, the place that he mounted the radio to is a side Molly panel by Victory 4x4, and the place that he mounted his CB, the handset, is actually on the Expedition Essentials 4T PAM, which is a great accessory holder for not only the CB handle, but for his phone and GPS and his tablet for mapping. Great accessory holder that holds a ton of accessories. We finished up with Trev's, now we're working on my Tacoma. The Tacoma is gonna be even easier than what Trev was. Mine, I'm actually going to keep it in the center console and I'm gonna let it free float. I've got a couple things in there. It should be totally fine.
One of the big differences between the two with the antennas, so I had the New York, this is the Wyoming antenna. So this is more, still magnetic base, but it's got a fixed, so it doesn't adjust angle or anything like
Articulate.
that. Articulate. Nice, yeah. But it is still a whip, so going under shrubbage and stuff like that, it'll still bend and everything, and you can also swashbuckle with it.
The base is magnetic, obviously. I'm gonna put it towards the back of the cab. I don't want it at the front because it just stands up like a big old horn. So I'm gonna have it towards the back, that way my the tent kind of blocks it, blends it in a little bit better, and will also protect it from branches and shrubbery. This is a plug from under the driver's side back passenger floorboard. All you do is pull it out, it pulls out from the bottom. What I'm gonna do is take my razor blade and I'm gonna make a little slice on the side next to the big hole here. And when I push this thing through, it's gonna be really hard to get through without tearing it, but hopefully I'm able to do it. And it's a boy.
It's a boy.
It's a boy. You can see the way the wire goes through this. It is definitely not waterproof, and this plug is under the floorboard and it will get water in there when the water splashes up or in the rain. So what I'm gonna do is, after I have it exactly where I want it, I'm gonna come back with some black RTV and I'm gonna seal this all up so that way it doesn't get any water in there and cause mold, because I've had that happen before and it's bad. In order to access the top of that plug inside the vehicle, you take this trim piece here and you get your fingers underneath here and just pull straight up. And now you have access to under the carpet right here.
What's wrong, bro?
Nothing. It's fine.
Nothing?
No problem at all.
Didn't feed that
I'm
under
actually going to
anything?
remove this. I've got the antenna cable ran through the floor and it comes out through the drain plug and then it comes back into the vehicle. I'm gonna route it under the floor mat right next to the console, and I'm just gonna run it on the driver's side over the console, inside, into the radio. Super easy install. Take the antenna that's already in there. I'm gonna plug it in, drop it in the center console. Speaker's gonna face out. It's gonna sit in there against a tissue box that I have in there for my wife, because you never know. Handset's already plugged in. Power cable is on a cigarette outlet and it's ready to run. Antenna cable, like Trev said, feed it through by the base and then screw it in. Very spacious center console. And that's it, super quick and easy. Oh yeah.
Slight dilemma. did not read the instructions ahead of time, and this is my first time actually doing any radio work outside of the military, really, and it's a whole nother, you know, world. And I thought these were actually going to be more simple. However, there's still a few little nuance. They are definitely more simple, but so what we need is a
tuner.
Yeah, tuner, essentially.
Basically.
It's a
CB tuner.
SMR tuner, I want to say it is. Anyway, we're going to get on Amazon, order one of those, and we will update that in the future, because right now we're really only getting a half-mile line of sight.
Line of sight.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't think it's the radio's fault yet, but it's our fault for not knowing to tune them. Yeah, we'll be back.
We're back. We've got the tuner. Let's get these things tuned and see how they sound.
Boom. So the main thing that we want to do is to keep this below the 2 on there. I believe it's like a 2-to-1 ratio or something like that. That is just telling the power loss on there, and we want to keep that less than 2 is good, but we closer to 1 is best. That's the least amount of power loss. And now I am talking just because Kelly's holding this up, and I want to see how long he can do it.
It's a heavy lens. Let's do this.
This is the SWR meter. This tells you pretty much your signal strength, loss, and whatnot. This one I got off of Amazon. I want to say it was around $15. We'll put a link below, but it had really good reviews. Not very expensive, definitely worth it, because you need to redo this. Anytime you move your antenna positioning or anything like that, you should redo this whole thing. To start off with, super simple, connect your cable to the transmit cable. This hooks into the radio, and then your antenna cable goes into this position, and then we'll get to the flippy flip and the knobby knob and go from there. So one thing to mention is that you want, like, we have the power off altogether to the system, so that way you don't accidentally key up the mic while things are disconnected. You never want to key up a mic on a radio that is not hooked up to the antenna. It has something to do with the power not being able to go anywhere from the system, so it stays in there and it screws something up. Not really sure, but I know it's bad. Well, it's working. First thing to do is the little switch here. We want to set that to forward. At least I think it's forward. It just says FWD. The other one is REF, which I'm going to say is reference. So we're going to switch it to forward. Got to click the mic, and while holding the mic, you want to turn it till it's at set. Once it's at set, go to reference, and we're at 1.6. So now, if your antenna is adjustable, you can actually tune the antenna, or you can move the position of the antenna. It all depends on the antenna that you have. On the ones that we got, they're non-tunable, so if we do need to make any adjustments, that's the way we go. And that is how you tune a radio. Breaker 19.
I got you loud and clear. I love CBs.
You the same, good buddy.
Apparently it brings up the redneck in both of us.
I'd probably say I'm probably getting close to a mile away from you by this point.
Cool. How do I sound now?
Still sound good.
Yeah, you're still really clear. These are good. I'm impressed. These actually work really well. The new CBs are tuned and they are working awesome.
Yep. So the tuning is a critical part of any radio install. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money. Very easy to do. So check out the link, pick one up. It's super easy. And yeah, I'm super happy with the radios.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait to get them out.
Not much more to say about them. They work. So
yeah. Can't wait to get them out on the trail.
That's all you can expect out of a radio. It's right to work. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. Follow us on IG. It's adventurebelt_, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Remember, so is not a transitional word.
So it is.
So it is. And so it shall be. That was
Mopeds.
the loudest thing I've ever seen. At least he has mask on.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Cronus ain't gonna catch me on my moped.
You're rambling.
Yeah. Let me redo that.
Weather alerts. Copy
Yep.
check.
Who the hell uses a deck of cards? What are we all, degenerate gamblers? So, no.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yep. Not that I really want to hear my brother anyway, but. Quiet on the set, damn it. Meow. Swashbucklers.
It's a duo.
Yes. Indubitably. All right, so.
Really? That's how you're going to start?
Lens is a little dirty. Shh.